Dr. Baer, tell us the story of the 37-year-old Jessica Berg Wilson, her death, and how it came to be an issue on Twitter.
Well, they published an obituary, and the obituary said that she took the vaccine and she got complications and died. Now, I know one of my best friends, Dr. Judith Reisman, who was the one who exposed Kinsey, had the same thing. So I'm sure a lot of people out there that are watching know somebody who had that. Now, I've had the vaccine. My wife has had the vaccine because she's been in chemo for many years, 26 years. So I'm not anti-vaccine. I do think that we shouldn't be required to have the vaccine. But, this is a serious issue because Twitter said that this obituary was false news, was misleading, was not true. And who were they to decide this? This was actually the case. And so there's a lot of issues here. One, the issue, why is Twitter trying to say whether what you're saying or I'm saying is true or false? Because I don't think they can do that. And number two is look at the Fourth Amendment and the Fifth Amendment, and even you could put the third in there too. They don't have the right, the government, to tell us that they're going to make our bodies, take the vaccine or whatever.
We know that we've been watching this all play out, and Americans are divided when it comes to the vaccine. It's become a cultural and political issue. But are the concerns that are represented here in this argument representative of what people who don't want to take the vaccine are trying to communicate?
I'm not sure that that's the concerns. They are, listen, we can go into great detail about the amount of testing and whether it's a vaccine and all the positive news, all the negative news. The question is a little bit more, detailed than that. I mean, the sin of Job, to put it in biblical context, was when you get to chapter 42, the sin of Job was not that he denied God. He never denied God, but he was presumptuous. He thought that he could make decisions about things he knew nothing about. And that's what Twitter is doing. It's a presumptuous sin. And of course, the Bible says, deliver us from presumptuous sins. But it also affects our rights as human beings.
You, as you mentioned, have a law background as well as your son. What would you encourage people to do if they're facing a mandate and they don't want to get the vaccine?
Well, that's a very tough question because I know a lot of studio heads, and a lot of studio heads do not believe in the vaccine, but they're now requiring the vaccine. And the interesting thing is a lot of their people who are African-American are resigning because they have the strongest complaints about the vaccine for some reason or another. I do not know why. I think someday, we've got to get people who are in the ALJ or any of the legal associations to say this is an infringement of our rights. I don't know. I know a couple of those lawyers who still do that. I know my son fought for a lawyer in Louisiana who didn't want to be a member of the Bar Association because their money was being taken and putting into things he didn't want, which they shouldn't have done. And he won that case. So you need to find a way of saying this is illegal. You can't do this. And Twitter and everybody else. I don't want us to curb free speech. I believe in free speech. The more free speech we have, the good always rises to the top. That was the principle of the Founding Fathers. But I do want us to say to these people, you don't have the right to tell me whether my speech is correct or not.
Indeed. Dr. Ted Baer, thank you so much for your time and your insight today.
Have a great day.